So a disclaimer going into this video is that this is going to be mostly about me. This isn't really going to be a football kind of commentary thing. This is just going to be me being sad. I'm going to be honest with you. So if you don't want to see it, you can go. That's fine. If you want to just have something on, have it. Or if you enjoy Packer fans being sad, also a viable video to watch. Because this is going to be a Packer fan being sad. Because that's what I am. So I think I might have said it at the time, and I don't know but like looking on it now, it's not true. On that, like I might have said watching that game last night that was unbelievable, and that is not true. It all makes sense. Like, and it's something that I thought about going into that game was that. So for the past 5 weeks, obviously the Packers have needed to win out, and the odds were against us the whole time. And then our odds of making the playoffs, even last week against the Vikings, were like 20-30%, I think, because we had to beat the Vikings and we had to beat the Lions. And then this week they weren't. This week, the odds were in our favor. They said 66% Packers are going to make the playoffs, and I thought, shit. And then nearly all of the people picked us to win, and we didn't. And because it felt like in the past 4 weeks, it's felt like a different Packer team. It felt like we kind of came together. We fixed a lot of the problems, and then we just lost all of it again. I said it would be my own thing, and then it kind of hasn't been. But I won't lie to you. I am devastated. I think I said that, but I am devastated at what has happened. Because as a fan, if you're old enough, I think that you probably know this feeling, and that might have like Aaron Rodgers is going to be my favorite player probably for the rest of my life, because he got me into football. Like I enjoy this sport because of what he has done, and that might have been it. That very well might have been it. Do I think it's going to be it? I would say probably not. I think he'll play next year, but he might not. I think there's a very fair chance that he might not. And that might have been it. That might have been the last time I'm going to see my favorite player ever play. And because I know he's not, like obviously he loves football, but he's not going to be in coaching. I don't see him ever being an analyst. Like he's going to probably fall out of the public sphere. And like that's going to be it for my favorite player. And like a lot of people hate Aaron Rodgers, and I kind of understand it. He's a bit of an out there guy, which I a lot of the times respect. So a lot of people aren't going to sympathize with me because they don't like the guy that I like, which is, quite simply, they don't like the guy that I like. And like whatever. But again, if you're old enough, you know what this is like, I think. Watching your favorite player play their last game. Maybe. Again, this might not be true. Give it 2 months. Video might be outdated because what I was afraid of didn't come to pass. Aaron Rodgers will play next year in the 2023-2024 season. But in the 2022-2023 season, that might be it. Saying you went out on his shield might be accurate. I think he played well in that game. I think we didn't do a lot to help him. A lot of people, I think, are going to blame him, and I think that's wrong. I think people will blame him for the year, and I think that's mostly wrong. I think blaming him for the day's game was wrong, like flat out, because I think that it was a big thing when we played the Niners was that, Rodgers didn't take chances. There were people who were open who he didn't hit because he didn't trust them inherently. And I don't think that was true. I think Rodgers hit Romeo Doubs in the hands 20 yards down the field with momentum, and the cornerback wasn't looking. So he probably would have gotten 30 yards on that play, and instead it was an incompletion, and I think it rushed to third down. Lazard dropped a pass. Dillon dropped a pass. Jones fumbled. Crosby missed a field goal. We went for it on 4th and inches with a fucking end around. I'm still confused why we QB sneaked later and didn't QB sneak there. But and then Quay fucking hit a trainer, which is gonna get talked about enough. I'm not gonna yell at Quay. He knows that was wrong. I can't believe that happened. Because like obviously you don't wish for injuries, and obviously like I'm not happy injuries happened. But like DeAndre Swift got hurt on that play, and that like was beneficial to the Packers' chances of winning that game. And then that happened, and I was like, I mean, it sucks, but it's going to be helpful. It's going to help. And then we immediately lost probably our best tackler, and we gave him a first down at the same time. And then Rasul Douglas fucking slapped a guy in the face. People are questioning what he was doing when he was getting the ball. What he was doing is that we called the timeout, and he was trying to keep the kicker from being able to practice a kick. Because a lot of kickers prefer that, where they'll be able to take a kick, just a free one. A lot of guys like that, and Russell was trying to keep him from doing that, which I think is fine. The problem is that he fucking smacked the guy like a dumbass. And I'm not like obviously it's something I think about a lot when I'm like criticizing a player for doing something. Like when I'm like, that was fucking stupid. Like, who am I to say that? You know, like I'm sitting in the corner of my room sad because a football team that I like lost. You know, who am I to say that he's stupid as shit? But he fucking slapped him because he got pushed for doing something that at the time didn't make sense. Like everybody, like for a moment, I think I picked it up pretty quickly what was happening, but there are a lot of people right now who do not understand what happened. And there's linemen that in that moment didn't understand what happened. They just saw a dude roll up and move the football. And because of that, they fucking pushed him. Which, pushing people isn't a problem. People push people all the time. If he had pushed him in the chest, it's different, and that doesn't happen. But he turned a legitimately questionable field goal attempt into a gimme, I think. Like a 90. He took like a 70%er and made it a 95%er. I would say maybe a 60%er, 65, but like that was dumb. And this one hasn't hurt as much as the last 2 years. If I was doing this last year and we lost the Niners, like I was a wreck, because I think that the odds of Rodgers retiring going into this season were higher than they are now into next season. Because now there's like stuff to look to, you know, like you can see a lot of the things that are in front of us when last year you didn't know. You didn't. And I was a wreck because like in these last 3 years, right? It's not that we lost. In 2019, we lost the Niners in the NFC Championship game. I was sad. I wasn't devastated. Because we were not supposed to win that game. The Niners beat the shit out of us in the regular season. They fucking exposed us. We played and we were inconsistent. We eked out wins. I was at one of them. I went to the Lions game at the end of the season, where that Lions team wasn't very good, and we beat them on a game-winning field goal as time expired. And we did, I think, the same thing the first time we played them. Because that team, as the Vikings are this year, we're not as good as their record said. So when we got to the NFC Championship game, after again eking out a game versus the Seattle Seahawks, we didn't expect to win. We wanted to win. We hoped we would win. We thought we could win, but we didn't expect to win. We didn't go in there going, if we lose, like, it's, like, we weren't favored. The odds were against us in that game, so it was whatever. But against the Buccaneers, we were favored. And again, I can get into it. I can get into it on that game. I'm not going to. I really want to, but I'm not going to because it's going to be a waste of time. Maybe I'll do it later. We were supposed to win that game, and we lost. We played the Niners last year, and we were supposed to win that game, and we lost. And we played the Lions this year, and we were supposed to win that game, and we lost. All of which were in Lambeau, which for years was all we'd asked for, was for these big games to not take place in other arenas. In fairness to the Buccaneers game, that was during the COVID year where instead of a stadium full of people, there were like 8,000 people there. So rather than 70,000, it was 8,000. But nonetheless, it's like a scary thing to look at, I think, for me at least, because like this is what made me a fan. Aaron Rodgers playing football is what made me a fan. The way that he plays is what got me here. If he was not as good as he was, if the Packers in 2007 went, you know what, Favre, you can come back. I don't think I'm here right now making this video because I don't think I'm either A, a fan at all, or B, as much of a fan as I am. And watching that guy that I think is the greatest to ever do it, believe, maybe, is sad. And I watched that post-game interview. That kind of helped me compartmentalize everything, was watching the actual people who were in it. Because as much as I am devastated, I wasn't a part of it. I technically own the team, but who really gives a shit? It's really just a legal pass to say we when I'm talking about them, and then I get access to an extra shop. But watching the guys who were actually in it handle it, I think helped me a little bit, made me feel better. And yeah, I don't know where we go next season. I haven't looked into enough of the cap stuff, so I'm not going to make a prediction on anything because I don't know. I don't know what our cap situation is. I don't know what the rest of the league's cap situation is because in the past year I've become more busy, so I don't have as much time to read through spreadsheets of how much dead cap the Packers have. So I'm not exactly sure, but it all focuses on Aaron Rodgers, on whether or not he's playing. Because if he's playing, I think it matters. If he's not, I don't think it does. And again, I think Aaron Rodgers is still a fantastic quarterback. I'd still probably have him. I probably can't list 5 guys who I'd rather have. Probably. Yeah, probably. I'm not sure. But as a franchise, if you can have him, you want to have him. It's not like we're going to go, well, I would rather my quarterback be Jordan Love. You can say that you would rather get into the motions of developing Jordan Love, but if you're going, I want to win as many games as possible, I think you are too down on yourself, or you just dislike the man of Aaron Rodgers. I think that you're clouded a little bit. Not clouded, but clouded. Your judgment has been clouded if you say that you'd rather have Jordan Love. At least in the sense of him retiring. Because to me, I think there's no shot he's traded. But if there is a world where he is traded, I can see it being possible that we get sufficient capital in response, we get sufficient capital in return that would make it at least viable for us to not have him next year. But we're not going to trade him. That's not going to happen. We're going to keep him. If he wants to play, he'll play. I also think that Rodgers is a guy who has enough money. I'm not saying that he's going to take away all of his money. I think that if he retires, he'll renegotiate his contract to make significantly less because he'll be okay. the State Farm money's going to keep rolling in and he's going to be okay. And if he ever needs to, he'll just, I don't know, have a show where he talks about football. And I think he knows that. So I think there's a fair chance that if he retires, he renegotiates his contract where he makes significantly less money and makes it significantly easier for the Packers. Because I think that 3 years ago, I think he hated the Packers. Hated is a strong word, but I think that he disliked the organization. I don't think he does anymore. Now, that's entirely speculation, and it's just me talking out of my ass on whether or not on my thoughts on a guy that I only see speak publicly, which I think is a poor way to judge what people think. That's why I'd love to be in the NFL, not like as a player, but as like a staff member. That, like, if I could just sit in there during a contract meet, like, I don't know what goes on, and I want to know so bad. I would love to be there for that, so I could know what people think. Because I don't know. Because, Devontae Adams is like going from Hall of Famer to Hall of Famer to Derek Carr, from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr, I mean. And he, obviously that's bullshit, and he knows that's bullshit. But I want to know what the thought process is there on, like, why you would say that publicly. Are you just buffing up Derek Carr? Because I know that if I was Derek Carr, I wouldn't like that. No, if knowing damn well that I'm not a Hall of Famer because I have never won a playoff game, I have never won any awards. I got close to winning one time, but I never won one. I never won a playoff game. Why would I be a Hall of Famer? And when someone that I'm looking at as my close friend calls me a Hall of Famer, I'd go, I appreciate the lie, but what the fuck? Why would you lie? I would never want Sky to do that. It's my friend. I would never want him to do that. So I don't know what that thought process is there. Maybe Derek Carr is an egotistical maniac who doesn't give a shit and thinks he is top 10 all time after doing fuck all in the NFL, really. Like, in 20 years, I'm going to remember Derek Carr, and I can't tell you a single play. I can't think of one. I have, like, a vivid image in my mind of him running forward and throwing it, but I can't name a play. So I want to know it so bad because I want to know what these people really think and how they really feel about a lot of stuff. So I don't have to rely on a PR team's spin on these guys. Yeah, it's a sad time to be a Packer fan. And I'll be honest, it makes me not want to watch the playoffs because we're not in them. I'm going to watch the playoffs, and I'm going to enjoy the playoffs, and I really hope they're well. And they should be fun. I will enjoy the games when I watch them because luckily I've got 6 days to get over it, which I think I will. But as of right now, I don't want to watch football. Yeah. I think that's all. I think I got out my thoughts on that. Because again, as I open it with, it's to say it's unbelievable would be a lie. Because it all makes sense. Trick plays, winning the game, lapses on defense yet again, lapses on offense yet again, a fucking butt catch because Savage had the ball in his stomach. He had the ball in his stomach. So I don't blame him on. To be clear, I'm saying that just like it was so close. Not like it was Savage's fault because why was he supposed to know it was in his stomach? But if he knew where the ball was, we win that game. Again, not his fault. Why would the ball have been there? If that happens, then I get to run around cheering that we're going to be playing the 49ers and we're going to get our ass kicked again. But I'm okay with it. So we made it to this. All I wanted after we beat the Bears and the Rams, all I wanted was to make the playoffs. I didn't want to win. I wanted to win, but I didn't realistically think we would because we're at that point we're a 7 seed. And do 7 seeds win like that? No, we really don't. I think that the 7 seed's been a thing for 2 years now, and they haven't won a game yet. And from what I can recall, they haven't been close. And if I'm being honest, unless the Dolphins get Tua back, I don't think it's gonna be close this year either. Yeah, that's all I got. Thank you for watching it.